Happy Friday, everybody! It was so great to see you this week, and I'm looking forward to our Zoom sessions next week where we talk with our language arts meeting and our math meeting, and of course, Tony Star of the Week. So I wanted to start by saying next week we have a new essential question, and it's a little bit of a tricky one, but I think we can do it. Our essential question is, how can things in nature be used to make new things? And this is a perfect essential question for next week as we start talking about Earth Day and how we can help take care of our Earth and save our natural resources. Natural resources happens to be one of our vocabulary words for next week, and those are things in nature that we can use. We're also going to talk about the word create, which we know is to make something. You all have been creating things at home, fabulous art projects, using recycled goods to make new things. So we're going to be talking a lot about that next week. And our big book is Bread Comes to Life, A Garden of Wheat and a Loaf to Eat. So you can tell by the cover of our story that this is a real photograph of a slice of bread. And all around it, I want you to think what that might be. That might be a natural resource, wheat, which is where our bread comes from. So we can use things in nature to create new things. So I want you to keep that in mind while I'm reading the big book. I also want you to focus on our comprehension skill, which happens to be sequencing. We've talked about sequencing a lot throughout the year. I want you to think about the steps involved to make bread. What happens first, second, third, or what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end. Are you ready? Bread comes to life. When we look at our table of contents, you can tell this is an informational text. This story is explaining something that happens in real life. It is written by George Levinson, and the photography is by Shmuel Thaler. So we do not have an illustrator, we have a photographer. Here's our great title page. Bread Comes to Life, A Garden of Wheat and a Loaf to Eat. Bread is the food we eat every day. So many kinds, so many ways. White bread, black bread, small bread, tall bread, thin bread, twin bread, dinner rolls, bread with holes, hard day old tough bread, soft, squishy, fluffy bread. We have all different types of bread, don't we? Bread is toast. Bread is crumbs. Bread is pizza. Bread is buns. How is bread made? Where is it from? This baker makes his bread from scratch. That means it's homemade. He does not go and buy things from the store. He is making it, starting with the very first step involved. He's sowing wheat in his backyard patch. Soon those seeds send down roots. Okay, friends, this might be the first step in making our bread. The farmer has to plant the seeds and sowing wheat. That means he's planting his wheat, and soon the seeds, we know that they split and the roots grow deep down and sprout into shoots of bright green grass. So the shoots come up toward the sun, roots dig down into the earth. The days pass, and that grass grows into sturdy blades. Ooh, we can see how it's grown. Tall and straight, finely made, with budding heads and bristly hair. You can see the budding heads of the wheat and the bristly hair. Gently waving in the air. Again, growing up toward the sun while the roots go deep down, securing the plant into the earth. When the crop is ripe and old, the tops are bowed and streaked with gold. Can you see how they're changing? And every head of wheat contains many tiny finished grains. So this is a head of the wheat, and here are the grains. Now this is the part we use to make bread. You're going to see that in just a moment. Time to cut the golden field. Gather up the backyard yield. Oh, this is what has been yielded or made, and we're going to cut it and gather it to make it into something else. Hey, that goes back to our essential question. How can things in nature be made to make new things? Stack up piles of sun-dried stalks. Rub them in a threshing box. That's right here. It's the simple old-time miller's craft of separating wheat from chaff. So this is a tool that millers and farmers use to separate the grain from the stalk. We don't need this long kind of hair part. We just need the grain, don't we? What's left are seeds, a hefty load. Many times the number sowed. Look how many pieces of grain we have. Amazing. And each new grain of harvest wheat looks just like a loaf to eat. So does that look like a tiny loaf of bread? That's one grain of wheat used to make something new. Now is the hour to grind those grains into whole wheat flour. Oh, so first we had to sow the seeds, right? Plant them. Then they had to grow. We had to cut the stalks. We had to use the threshing box to separate the grain from those long fibers. And now we need to grind them to make flour. So many steps to make bread. Are you sequencing in your mind like I am? With simple tools and easy rules, it's on with the show to make up some dough and bring fresh bread to life. Now we're gonna make our bread. Yeast, honey, water, flour. Those are the ingredients we need to make bread, right? Salt, oil, and muscle power. You need strong muscles to mix it all up to make the dough. Dump it, thump it, dust it, knead it. We talked about kneading before, right? Using our hands to mix. Squash it, stretch it. Toss it. This baker's tossing his dough in the air. Now, this is amazing, friends. You set it aside to rest and rise. It grows and grows to twice the size. So when you set the freshly made dough to the side, you leave it in a bowl, sometimes covered, and the dough rises, gets fluffier, and doubles in size, twice the size it used to be. Punch it down, give it some shape. Let it rise again. Put it in to bake. So many steps involved to make fresh bread. Maybe some of you have done this at home already. We can talk about it in our Zoom meeting. Slice it fresh. Oh, it just came out of the oven. Now we can cut the pieces of bread from our fresh loaf. It's better than cake. Yum. Whatever the shape it finally takes, wherever the place it finally bakes. Every day we are blessed with a mountain of bread. It's the staff of life. May all be fed. So as you can see by this final illustration, there are so many types of bread, so many shapes and sizes, so many other foods that can be made from bread, sandwiches, pizzas, all kinds of yummy things. I hoped you liked this informational text, Bread Comes to Life. I hope you were thinking about all the different steps it took to first grow the wheat and then separate the wheat, grind it down, and use it as an ingredient to make delicious bread. So I hope you liked the video. You can also watch this, of course, on the Wonders portal, the McGraw-Hill icon. And I hope that you are ready for our Monday or Tuesday meeting. We're going to talk about sequencing these events that happened in this story. And we'll talk about the essential question, new vocabulary words, and new sight words also. Great job, boys and girls. I'll see you soon. Bye.